On this edition of Inside Education, getting our local graduates to work, we dive into a national initiative made possible by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting to connect 16 to 26-year-olds to in-demand jobs like construction or IT. First, hear from part of the team behind the local American Graduate Initiative. Then we talk to two Clark County School District teachers on the front lines. We hope you stay with us for this important discussion. This special edition of Inside Education starts right now. Thanks for joining us for this special edition of Inside Education. I'm your host, Mitch Truswell. Many of Nevada's most in-demand careers don't require a four-year degree, and many of those careers have a critical shortage of qualified workers. The Clark County School District is working hard to create pipelines where students can graduate high school and earn a good paycheck, sometimes while learning on the job. And here at Vegas PBS, a national initiative is also working to expose young people to career possibilities. The initiative is called American Graduate, Getting to Work, and we have multiple panels waiting to tell us more about what's going on here in Southern Nevada. But first, a quick explanation on what American Graduate is.
When you think of Vegas PBS, you think of television, you think of Pledge and our membership drives and things like that. But our television is such a great way of connecting people to resources, and that is exactly what we're trying to do with American Graduate. So Vegas PBS's role is to bring awareness and promote middle skills jobs for 16 to 26-year-olds. Our unemployment rate is continually decreasing, but when you look at youth populations, that unemployment rate is actually doubling. If you're a grandparent, a parent, teacher, a counselor, but you know of that one youth that could be connected to these resources, visit our website at vegaspbs.org/American-Graduate.
It worked out so well, and I'm so glad that I had this experience.
This message is part of American Graduate Getting to Work, a public media initiative made possible by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting.
Joining me now to talk more about the American Graduate Initiative is Kip Ortenberger, host of Nevada Week here at Vegas PBS. Craig Brockett, Work-Based Learning Coordinator for the Clark County School District. Dr. Nikki Bates, Director of Educational Media Services for Vegas PBS. And Sierra Wachtel, a youth who participated in many of the American Graduate videos. Thank you all for being here today. Kip, I want to start with you. We just watched a PSA in which you talked about the American Graduate Initiative getting to work. And I think what will be surprising to a lot of folks is the unemployment rate for youth, and we're talking about that 16 to 26 segment.
Correct.
What is it?
Yeah, so it's double what our unemployment rate is here in Southern Nevada, and these are national trends, so we're not any different than the national trend, but we are about double. Now, there's a lot of reasons for that, but one of the reasons that we are focusing on with American Graduate is that we have a demand for certain skills, and those jobs aren't being filled. So when we're looking at especially the entry-level jobs, which are usually the 16 to 26-year-olds, what we call middle skills jobs in this case, they're not being filled by our local companies, and so that's why we have the gap.
Okay. Help us understand a little bit more about the middle skills jobs. Are there specific jobs that you can give us an example of what they are?
Yeah, absolutely. So jobs like laboratory technicians, heat and cooling installers, IT and cybersecurity specialists. These are the type of jobs that we're talking about. And the difference between a middle skills job and, say, any other type of job is that you need some form of post-secondary education. You don't need a four-year degree, but you need some form of credential that you get either through an apprenticeship or through a more short-term training program. Those training programs can last anywhere from 6 months to 2 years, but you do get some form of formal education that puts you in this type of job.
And with so many jobs to fill, obviously that's the reason you're focusing on those.
It's the reason we're focusing on it, and again, this is a big demand. So when we're talking about just Southern Nevada, we have about 42% of all the in-demand jobs we have within the state are these middle skills jobs. Over half of the jobs in the entire nation are middle skills jobs. So this is a big part of our workforce, a big part of our labor market. So when we don't fill those jobs, of course, economically, right, it's a big issue, right? It can restrict our economy, it can restrict our businesses from growing. But I think the other important thing to keep in mind is if you are a student, you're looking for a middle skills job, these are jobs that have upward mobility. these are jobs that are lucrative. They can start at $20 to $30 an hour. And after 3 or 4 years, you could be at $50 an hour with the right credentials and right experience. So these are livable wage jobs. These are very lucrative jobs. And a lot of them are in really, really cool sectors as well.
All right. Craig, we know the statistics show that most of the CCSD graduates do not go on to a 4-year college university. So in light of all we hear about the new Nevada, and we're trying to bring these diverse jobs, technology-driven jobs to the state, how do we make sure that we're ready as a state to fill these jobs and these careers and place students in these careers?
It's a good question, and following up with those comments, I think that there's a big push for us to be more collaborative, obviously, with our industry partners, bringing them in to understand what we're teaching, what programs of study we're teaching. Traditionally we've had more career vocational positions and jobs in our schools, and now I think we're kind of moving into finding out what are those middle skill jobs to fill our workforce. And so, working with governments, both local and at state, Governor's Office of Workforce Innovation, for example, trying to get what we're, the highest priorities are really important for us, and making sure that those get into our schools. So we're really trying to make sure that there's a curriculum development aspect to what we're doing, and changing our programs to become more attuned with what's needed in our state.
Are you feeling like you're making progress in that direction?
Absolutely. I think we're constantly evaluating what we're doing and finding out what's aligning with industry standards, and bringing in folks from industry to help evaluate through advisory committees and other councils to make sure that we're on track is a real important part of our work. Okay.
Dr. Nikki Bates, so why does the Corporation for Public Broadcasting get involved in initiatives like this? We're talking about the getting to work. Why is it particularly important here in our state?
It's so important. Just as Craig said, there has been a slight disconnect between what our kids are learning in school and not just getting them to graduate, but realizing what happens is very important after graduation. So they have to be able to go to work or go to college. So it's that whole college and career readiness. But as Kip said, it's about filling in that void of, hey, not just meeting the needs of kids, but meeting the needs of our workforce, of those businesses that you're working with out there. They have a need to have a pipeline of workers coming into their businesses, and there is a great need there. In the construction industry, especially, we have several people retiring from that industry, and there's no pipeline coming in. So the school district, working very closely in what Craig does with that, with businesses and bringing the school district and the businesses together. Where the Corporation for Public Broadcasting comes in, since 2011, they have actually been providing grants around the theme of graduation, but luckily have also realized, as of 2018, that iteration of the grant now added the tagline of getting to work, because they also believe how important it is. Because local stations, with their fingers right there in the community, can also do what the school district is doing and bring together all of the partners to make everyone aware. As a media organization, it's about awareness and making sure our local youth, ages 16 to 24, ages 16 to 26, are aware of what Kip was talking about, are aware of what you're trying to do. So that's our piece. And education is part of the DNA of public television. Right. So it makes complete sense that the Corporation for Public Broadcasting would also be part of that conversation.
I hear from all of you talking about the need. Did we have too much focus for too long on you must go to college, it must be 4 years? Do you see that?
Yeah, I do think that was a message that I think from a traditional standpoint we were all kind of caught up in, and understanding that there's other choices. I really think that our Superintendent Jar has done a really good job of messaging that piece with our trades. But yes, that's really been a focus out of our department, is to try to figure out ways that we can make sure the students have all of the options and understand all the pathways, and that there are very viable careers for students who are not going straight into college, and with endorsements and credentials that can come out of high school or even a 2-year program, very viable for the workforce. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Sierra, let's talk to you. You had the opportunity to experience a lot of careers as part of the career pathway videos. which were produced by Vegas PBS.
Yes.
Tell us about some of the careers that you experienced and what you learned from it.
So one of the most fun experiences that I had to dive right into was getting to join in on the boot camp that Helix Electric was providing to all of their apprentices. And so me being a dancer, I go to school for dance and creative writing. Doing something like electricity work was completely different for me. But I actually really enjoyed it. I was shown every step of the way. I learned so many different things, used power tools I never thought I would have to use or need to know how to use. But not only did it open my eyes to this whole field that I wasn't aware of, I was made aware that I could make that choice, even though it was something I didn't think I would enjoy. I was my mind was totally changed. If I hadn't had that opportunity, I wouldn't have known that the choice was there and that the choice could possibly be for me. So.
And do you feel like those that are near your age group are aware of all these possibilities?
I would definitely say not as aware as they should be. If I hadn't gotten the opportunity to be working within the American Graduate Grant, I would not know that there are so many other options out there. I agree with what you were saying, that universities and four-year degrees are really, really pushed. And while that's an excellent choice, there's so many other things out there that's going to get you to where you need to be. I don't think that having one distinct choice is, the way to be. You should have options.
Right. I guess probably to your point, Craig, it's really making sure that students find out all that's out there, and I guess that's probably breaking through some of that college bias, you got to go to college, or just making sure that counselors are even aware and can communicate that to students.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think we really want to offer students opportunities to get out and explore not only what they're interested in, but what they're skilled at, what their passion is, to kind of set them in a mindset to follow their passions and their skill sets. I know that we try to put students in work-based learning opportunities like internships, job shadowing, industry tours, and to your point, hands-on activities, right? So you can get in and understand what the scope of some of these jobs are, because really the careers are, there's a lot more careers out there that may lend to their skill set they're not aware of. So the more we can expose students to those opportunities, I think, will lend to a better future for them.
Nikki, before we go, how would you measure success with this initiative? What would be the kind of the signal for success in your view?
Again, it's for us, it's an awareness campaign, and it really speaks to what Sierra was talking about, and that's choices. What kids need to understand is they have choices, and that particular career that they get after high school doesn't mean college is out of the picture.
Right.
That career can be their pathway to college. It was for me at 18. I went right into a job. That job helped me pay for college, right? So the ultimate goal, of course, is for youth to really understand what their choices are, and that there isn't just one thing that they have to do when they graduate. But of course, measuring success, we survey, we measure our membership. We also, of course, look at ratings. How many eyeballs are on the TV watching the message that we're putting out there broadcast? But we also have all of the content online, so measuring so of course it's about measuring awareness. So measuring how many people are going to the website and actually looking. We have resources available, not just all of the video content that we produce, but there's a list of resources for our community to go, for our kids that age to look at and call and pick up the phone and go to other websites and look at other avenues. So we measure all of that as part of the awareness campaign.
Okay. Well, I think we've learned in our short discussion here a lot of resources out there.
Yeah.
I want to thank you all for doing your part to kind of bring it forward for us. At the end of the program, we want to let folks know that we'll be showing you where you can find all of the videos and the resources compiled as part of this initiative. But for now, we want to go to an American Graduate video that tags along with some female CCSD students learning about careers in construction. Construction is an in-demand career here in Nevada, and exposing students to career paths in this field, is critical.
Reports from the governor's office project 4,900 construction labor openings alone over the next 5 years.
My name is Don Rodriguez. The name of our company is Superior Builders. I'm a principal commercial construction manager. Right now, we're feeling a very tight pinch on labor, construction people entering the job force.
My name's Stephen Haig. I've been involved in the construction industry since I was 17 years old. Probably over the last 10 or 12 years, we've seen a huge decline in people coming into the industry, especially youth.
So part of my job is to connect students with resources for career exploration, expose students to opportunities that they could have based on their skill sets in those sectors. With construction in particular, we really want to expose students to opportunities like this, industry tours that allow them to explore the different facets of those industry sectors.
I'm an assistant superintendent. I'm now running crews. We need to make sure that they're all successful in order to make the project move forward.
McCarthy Builders partnered with CCSD, bringing 30 female high school students to tour construction of the Las Vegas Stadium, the new home for the Raiders NFL team.
That's going to get set into place over here and kind of create this whole span.
McCarthy Builders has been a partner with CCSD for over 10 years. They're a fantastic partner in reaching out to us when these opportunities arise. I really want to use experiences like these industry tours to allow them to understand what is available for them when they get out of school, what type of education path they may need to take to get there, and understand that there's a place for them inside these industry sectors.
There's lots of opportunities out there in our industry, good paying, career opportunities. There's no height to where you can go, it's just limited by yourselves.
For more information, visit vegaspbs.org/American-Graduate. This message is part of American Graduate, Getting to Work, a public media initiative brought to you by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting.
We are back at the round table, this time with Ray Alvey, who teaches construction technology at Southeast Career and Technical Academy, also known as SECTA, as well as Anthony Ciadini, the Emergency Medical Services Instructor at Veterans Tribute Career and Technical Academy. Welcome to both of you. So, Ray, we just saw the video talking about the need for construction workers, and I know that you're on the front lines. You not only worked in the industry for years and years, you crossed over and now you're teaching construction as well as many other things involved in building things. How do you correctly educate students on all that there is out there in this world that we call construction technology?
I get the students when they're a freshman coming into school, and I have them for 4 years. And during that time, we show them all areas of the industry, from framing to operating heavy equipment on up. But the most important thing is we bring in the industry people to come in and speak to them. We bring in unions, we bring in home builders, we bring in city officials that work in the industry, and we give them the options. We show them from the way they can work as like a carpenter or a laborer or an operating engineer, all the way up through going to college where they can get a degree in construction management. They can go and become an engineer. They can work as architects. There's a lot of avenues that they can go to, and we show them these so that they can make a choice. Not all of them will go into it.
Right.
They choose which way they want to go. Some of them will never work in construction. And others, I have several girls even right now that want to start their own construction companies.
Right.
And so they can go in a lot of ways, and they just love it.
And it also, those skills that they have, if they need to work part-time to pay for college, they also have that ability as well.
A lot of them will work full-time, and then they'll go to school in the evening like I did. That's how I got my degree. And they will progress in not only their business, but also in their college degree. Or maybe they'll start a construction company on their own by doing this.
Right, and those jobs are something that a lot of folks don't always have. It comes with paid vacation time, medical insurance. What else am I missing?
Well, if you start out with a union, you will have your benefits, which include your vacation time, your health and welfare, which is your medical and your dental and your optical. They will have full benefits, which include your retirement. Right. And a lot of training, tremendous amount of training, and that's immediate. As soon as they get hired on with like a union, that's immediate. And so they will start out at like $28 an hour, $30 an hour, depending on where they start, and they can only go up from there. And they can make a very, very good career out of doing this and
Absolutely.
retire early.
Absolutely. Anthony, we know that the medical field is also one of those in-demand careers because of the need. Our population is growing. We're getting older. That often kind of intersects with medical services. In terms of EMS, the EMS program, you're at Veterans Tribute. How do you communicate all that students can, I guess, and learn where the program can take them?
Well, in our program, they get to learn everywhere that the program can take them, and the EMT is the entry level into the healthcare system, where we have a nationwide crisis of being short from doctors to nurses to an ER technician. All these are certifications that begins with having the very basic EMT, emergency medical technician certification. With getting more of that knowledge out, I'm very lucky that other agencies around here recognize that they do have a shortcoming, which is human power. So they send in their recruiting officers, such as Community Ambulance, Medic West, AMR, American Medical Response. And the real good thing when AMR comes in is that is a nationwide corporation. So when they get hired here, that's not their only limit. Their certification is for the entire nation. They can take this certification and go to any state that they want.
And I just want to make sure that people understand. So these students that have been in your program for the 4 years, provided they pass the certification and when they graduate high school, they have the ability to go work immediately.
Yes, they do. And currently right now as we speak, Medic West Ambulance hired 3 of my former students from last year. One of them is Sarah Lax, and she's in the field as we speak right now.
Wow. Wow. You know, one of the things you talk about, all the organizations and companies that come to visit students, you also mentioned that as well. That hands-on, really allowing students to see while they're in high school where they can be after high school, kind of makes a difference.
Yes, it does.
Makes the connection for the student?
Oh, yes, it does, because they get to see actually what the career is going to entail.
And what it looks like.
Exactly. There can be happiness and there can be sadness because of danger that you're in the construction industry. And sometimes that scares them. And the height, working in heights, that'll scare them a lot, and it'll scare them away from the industry. But we tell them other areas you can work, like an operating engineer, you don't get off the ground very high.
Right.
And they can operate heavy equipment, and it works out great for them too.
Okay. We know that you just had, Anthony just had several students from last year that were hired on. I know you also at SECTA, SECTA is undergoing some construction of its own and you actually have some students there, right? Working on that? Former students?
I do. They graduated a few years ago and they're working as carpenters on the school that they went to, and they're loving it. They come in and talk to me all the time, and they make more money than I make, and they got a great career ahead of them, and they think it's exciting for them to work on a school that they went to and to help improve it, and they really love that.
The panel that we spoke to earlier in this program, I asked them, and I'd like to get your opinion on this, you know, has there been too much focus for too long among high school students, grade school students, about you got to go to college? That's the one way to get through. Do you find that the students that you come in contact with or the parents really want to direct their students to the college experience? Or what do you see?
Well, I think it's just a miscommunication or a misunderstanding that, yeah, a lot of parents, and including a lot of people that we work around, do push that 4-year. I think it's mainly because we don't realize that there are other options out there that do not require a 4-year degree that end with very, very good careers and high-paying jobs.
Right. Our school was originally developed in 1965 as an alternative school to college. It was a vocational school where the students could come without going to college and learn a vocation and have a career. And over the last, I'd say 10, 12 years, it's kind of changed to where they more not demand, but they more recommend that all students go to college for something.
Right.
And I believe it's in the wrong direction. A lot of teachers believe it's in the wrong direction because so many students nowadays don't have the money to go to college, and they don't have the desire to go to college. And this gives them a vocation and a career that they can do without having to go in debt to get a college degree, and sometimes make a lot more money than they can out of college.
And they also gain some great life skills as well from both of your programs. Okay, so we only have about 45 seconds left. If you could leave viewers with one thought about this whole issue of that we've been discussing here, what would it be?
college is not for everybody. A vocation, you can make a very good living out of it. Try it. If you don't like it, you can still go to college.
How about you, Anthony?
That there's options, and that's really ultimately what we're giving as instructors and teachers to our kids is options. And that's the big thing, is to realize that's all we are, is just another option other than going to a 4-year program.
Wonderful. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
We want to thank both of our panels. Now we want to let you know where you can find all the information we just spoke about. Learn about the Clark County School District magnet schools and career and technical academies at magnet.ccsd.net. Applications for magnet programs are being accepted now until January 7th for the 2020-2021 school year. And you can watch a host of videos about in-demand careers like automotive techs, MRI technicians, and electricians by heading to vegaspbs.org/American-graduate. On that page, there is also a number of links to resources, so we encourage you to check it out. A quick reminder that you can watch this episode and past episodes of Inside Education on the Vegas PBS website or YouTube page. We want to thank you for watching, and we'll see you again in 2 weeks.